What's good, fellas? Welcome back to the channel. With the NBA offseason well underway, I want to talk about 5 potential trades that would literally break the offseason. These are 5 blockbuster trades. And let me first preface by saying these are not hyper realistic. I do not expect all of these to happen. They are crazy. Let's first start off with a potential Kevin Durant trade. He is the biggest name in media right now because he's going to get traded in most likely the next 48 hours, whether it be Houston, San Antonio, Toronto, Minnesota. And for this deal, we have Kevin Durant going to the Spurs. This is probably my favorite fit for KD. I don't think he's probably going to end up here anymore. The Spurs aren't going crazy for him, but if they did, this is a deal that I could potentially see going to Phoenix. So I have Devin Vassell, Harrison Barnes, the 14th overall pick from this year's draft, a first in 2027, and then a 2028 second-round pick heading to Phoenix. And I love this fit for Kevin Durant. The Spurs will have a core of KD, Fox, Wemby, and all the other guys. They'll have, Sohan. They'll have Julian Champagnie, who's improving year after year. And I love this fit because Kevin Durant is a guy who is almost a seamless fit into any role because he doesn't need to be a primary ball handler. So you're not going to really hurt the development of Wemby. Fox will be okay. And they have the capital to give up to get KD without really killing their future. They have so many draft picks. They have salary they can dump with Vassell and Barnes. And they also have a lot of room before the second apron to really fill out this roster because it's not too deep right now. They have roughly $42 million to work with. So if they could get that bench kind of filled out in free agency, I think a Kevin Durant move would be a whole lot of fun. And they could be a serious contender in the Western Conference because you have Wemby, you have KD, obviously, you have Fox, you have Champagnie, you have so many guys who could make an impact. And I think this is probably the best fit for KD. The Rockets are cool, sure, but I would much rather see KD go to the Spurs. The Minnesota Timberwolves, they have to give up a lot. They don't have too much depth. I would like to see KD go to the Spurs. That's the first trade out of 5. Let's move on to trade number 2. For our second trade, we're going to be talking about Trey Murphy of the New Orleans Pelicans. There has also been some talk about Trey Murphy or Herb Jones being sent away from New Orleans. And in return for Trey Murphy specifically, the Pelicans would want an older guy who can contribute in the playoffs, a younger guy with a lot of potential, and a first-round pick or multiple first-round picks. So for Trey Murphy, I have him going to the Denver Nuggets. I think this would be a seamless fit for a contender who's not really there, but they're close. They need one more piece. And I have the Nuggets getting Trey Murphy and Kelly Olynyk, and in return, the Pelicans get Michael Porter Jr. at $38 million. Christian Brown, which kind of hurts, at roughly $5 million. He's on the last year of his deal. And then the Pelicans get a 2031 first-round draft pick, which could be, honestly, a pretty good pick because the Nuggets' window for championship is in the next 3, 4, 5 years. You are kind of giving up a lot. You don't really want to give up Christian Brown. He's one of the most underrated role players this league has. He's always consistently giving you buckets, efficient buckets, can shoot the 3. He brings intensity and handsy defense. So that obviously hurts. He is a team option. We'll see what the Nuggets do with him. I assume they're going to pick that up very easily. I don't think they're going to trade him. But Michael Porter Jr. had an year, still shot 50% from the field, 39% from 3, but he's not really a guy who is going to contribute to a winning championship team in 2025, in my opinion. He's not a great playmaker. He's not a great defender. And you're also salary dumping a little bit at $38 million. And in return, you get Kelly Olynyk, who's on 1 year left of his deal, $13.5 million. He could still contribute. He's still a veteran that could bring some presence. And then Trey Murphy is still one of the more underrated role players in this league. He's only 24 years old. He'll give you 20 points a night. Not the most efficient player. His three-point shot is kind of up and down, but he's still one of the best perimeter defenders this league has to offer, and he's improving year after year. So I would love to see Trey Murphy get a spot on a championship team, whether it be Denver or so many other spots. I am a big fan of Trey Murphy and even Herb Jones. I would like to see Herb Jones get out of New Orleans, find himself in a really nice role where he could contribute to a championship level team. But Trey Murphy on the Nuggets would be a whole lot of fun. Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, You still have Aaron Gordon. You add Trey Murphy to that lineup. Then you have a real 3-star to pair up with Jokic and Murray. I love this trade. Do I think it's hyper-realistic? No, not necessarily, but that's not really the point of this video. Trey Murphy to the Nuggets will be sick. And for our third trade, we have to talk about Giannis. We can't have blockbuster trades in this offseason without talking about Giannis. The Spurs are in contention. The Rockets are in contention. But if I had to choose one team that I think would go hard in for Giannis, it would be the Toronto Raptors. Now, this is probably going to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, packages in NBA history. We're getting crazy when we're talking about Giannis trades, and I have the Bucks in return from Toronto getting Scotty Barnes at $38.5 million. You have Jakob Poeltl at roughly $20 million. You have the 9th overall pick in this year's draft. You have a 2027 first-round pick, a 2029 first-round pick, and 2 second-round picks in 2029 and 2030. Honestly, if I'm the Bucks, I might be accepting this deal. Maybe you want to get another first-round pick in exchange for Giannis, but you are getting the 9th overall from this year, so you can really retool around Scotty Barnes, around Jakob Poeltl. You're getting a young all-star in Scotty Barnes, a great two-way player. And then Jakob Poeltl, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated players we have in this league. He's a top 10 to maybe 12 center we have. He's an underrated playmaker. He could facilitate the offense. And I saw a crazy stat that he's like the 4th most efficient player in NBA history. He shot over 63% from the field last season. What are we doing? And for the Raptors, you keep Barrett, you keep Quickly, and then you kind of build around Giannis for the next 3, 4, 5 years and see what you could do. Now, if I'm the Raptors, do I do this? I'm not too sure. And for my philosophy, I guess you could say, if I was building a team, I don't really like trading young players and young assets for an older guy when you're not really going to compete. I just don't really understand that. I don't think it's smart. But for the Bucks, I think this is a solid return. Maybe I want to add another first-round pick, but you're getting a young all-star, great two-way player in Scotty Barnes. Yeah, the three-point shot isn't really there, but we could see what he'll do with that. You get Jakob Poeltl, who is one of the most underrated players this league has to offer. You're getting a top 10 lottery pick in this year's draft. This year has some depth to it. You could get a really good player at that number 9 range, and then you're getting some first-round picks, some second-round picks. I think this would be quite cool. Raptors getting Giannis, how do we feel? Let me know in the comment section down below. Would you like to see him go to a bigger market? Would you see him, pair up to Wemby? Would you like to see him go to Houston? But for the Raptors, Giannis in Toronto, I feel like that'd be kind of cool. Giannis in a Toronto Raptors jersey, that'd be kind of cool. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Let's move on to trade number 4. So this is where we're getting a little bit unrealistic. We're going to talk about Jaren Jackson Jr. Of course, Desmond Bane was just traded to the Magic, and Jaren Jackson Jr. is on the last year of his deal at $23.4 million. Now, I do not expect the Memphis Grizzlies to trade Triple J. I don't think it'll happen. But in a world where they do, reports have just surfaced that the Knicks would be in love. They'd love a front court of Karl Anthony Towns and Triple J. So we made the trade happen. Now let me preface again, I do not think this is going to happen. I expect the Grizzlies to extend Triple J, build around him and Ja Morant for the next 2, 3, 4 years. But if a trade were to happen and he is sent to New York, this is kind of what I could see. So it's going to look a little bit weird on the screen, obviously, but this application didn't really have the Desmond Bane trade go through yet because technically it's not official or something like that. So I had to throw in the Desmond Bane trade a little bit in here, but I will tell you how the trade itself will work individually. The Knicks will get Jaren Jackson Jr. and Brandon Clark, and in return, the Memphis Grizzlies will get OG Anunoby, Mitchell Robinson, a first-round pick, and a second-round pick. And I know a lot of people are going to be saying, oh, why are you trading OG? Why are you trading OG? Just trade McHale. This is my issue. OG Anunoby is going to be at $40 million. That will only go up. You have Karl Anthony Towns. That's at over $50 million. That's going to go up a lot. That'll get near to 60 in the next 2 years. You have Jalen Brunson, who's in the 40s. And then you're going to have Jaren Jackson Jr., needing a new contract. You're going to extend him. He's going to be looking at mid-40s to 50s. Try building a roster around that. Try building a roster around Cat's contract, Brunson's, OG's, and Triple J. It's just not going to work. That's too much money. So I feel like you trade away OG Anunoby at $40 million. You extend Mikal Bridges There's been reports that he would take a pay cut. You extend Mikal, you get a little bit of money to really build out this team, and then you could have a starting lineup of Jalen Brunson, Deuce McBride, Mikal Bridges, and then Jaren Jackson Jr. and Karl Anthony Towns in your front court. It'd be very interesting. Very interesting. I think that would be it would be the best front court in the NBA. They'd probably foul out before the first time out. That's my only worry, but I like that tandem. You have Jaren Jackson Jr., one of the best defensive players in the league, can also space the floor, had a pretty decent three-point shooting year, and then you have Karl Anthony Towns, who is maybe the best big man shooter of all time. If they could work on the fouls, I think this would be really, really good. I think this team could be very dangerous, very hard to deal with, because you have two offensive guys who are huge. You have two offensive guys that are huge. I don't know why I said it twice, but it'll be hard to deal with. Knicks, Triple J would be very interesting. Likelihood of this deal happening, 20%, 15%. Let's move on to trade number 5. All right, for this deal, we're getting a little bit crazy. We're getting out of hand. Jaylen Brown, the Celtics, Tatum's out for the entire 2026 season. Maybe they blow it up. Yo, Houston, you couldn't get KD. You couldn't get Giannis. All right, take Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown, you're out of here. You're heading to Houston. In return, the Celtics get Jalen Green, Jabari Smith Jr., Aaron Holiday, Cam Whitmore, the 10th overall pick in this year's draft, the 2027 first-round pick, and then Boston gets their rights back to a 2030 second-round pick. Now, I posted this deal. I posted all 5 of these deals on my TikTok. Same name is on here if you want to, follow me on there for short-form content. And I had a lot of people saying, why are the Rockets giving up more for Jalen Green than the Raptors did for Giannis? Why are we comparing Jalen Green and Jabari Smith Jr. to Scotty Barnes and Jakob Poeltl? Two different echelon of players. Scotty Barnes is a young two-way all-star player, and Jakob Poeltl is a very, very good center. We shouldn't be comparing them to Jalen Green and Jabari Smith Jr. Jabari Smith Jr. has a lot of potential. Jalen Green, at this point, I'm a little bit worried, and at $33 million, that is a lot. That's more of a salary dump for Houston because they have to match the contracts of Jaylen Brown. Aaron Holiday and Cam Whitmore, also some salary dump to make this trade work. Cam Whitmore, yeah, he's good, but I don't see a future for him in the Houston Rockets rotation. Yeah, you're giving up the 10th overall pick, but this would make the Rockets pretty competitive. You're getting an NBA Finals or Finals MVP with Jaylen Brown. So I don't think this is a bigger deal than the Giannis trade, not at all. This is an interesting deal because the Rockets do seem to be star hunting. They've been interested in KD. They've been interested in Giannis, and if they could land a Jaylen Brown, you still are there with your defense. The spacing, it's still going to be good. Like, Jaylen Brown isn't an elite three-point shooter. He had his worst three-point shooting year ever, but he's still going to space the floor for you. And for a younger team, you're going to add a little bit more experience. You're going to add scoring. You're going to add, more attacking the rim to this team. So I feel like this could be really interesting. Wondering what the Rockets will do with that Fred VanVleet contract. We'd have to see, but you still have Amen Thompson. You still have Alperen Sengun. And I feel like realistically, if the Rockets were to trade for Jaylen Brown, the Celtics would probably ask for Amen Thompson or Alperen Sengun. So I'm not sure how realistic this is, but Jaylen Brown on the Rockets would be pretty cool. It would be a big shock to us because, Jaylen Brown, you associate him with the Celtics. I mean, they can't move on from Jaylen Brown. It happens. It happens in this deal. Let me know what you guys think of these 5 blockbuster trades in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in another video. Peace out.